Hello everyone. So harap you all ni sehat. So sekarang dah pukul 8, kita akan mula kelas kita. So kindly open up your set 5. So hopefully you have tried, okay? So you have try your best. So sekarang kita akan mula lah kita punya kelas. Okay, so kindly refers to the first questions. So we have the question for limits, okay? Limits.
To obtain 0 over 0, which is what we call the indeterminate form.
Okay, as usual, kindly refers to the questions. So when you refers to the question, dalam otak you mesti kena fikir, ini soalan jenis apa? Okay, jenis apa? So dia adalah indeterminate form. So dalam indeterminate form ada dua jenis. Yang pertama, 0, 0. Yang kedua, infinity, infinity. So kalau dia 0, 0, apa yang kita perlu buat? So sekarang kita tengah buat latihan revision kan? So mohonlah ya tulis apa strategi yang perlu kita guna dalam soalan yang begini.
So in order to solve this kind of situation, there are 3 strategies that we can use. First one is multiply by the conjugate. Second one, factorization. Third one is long division. So for this question, my suggestion.
Okay, so bila you dah nyatakan multiply, factorize, long division. So cuba, okay, cuba. Sekarang kita dah discuss sampai set yang ketiga. So you cuba, teka. So you nak guna strategi apa? Dan bila you teka benda itu, kenapa you buat begitu? Okay, kena tahu dah sekarang.
Would be multiply by the conjugate. So limits when x approaching 3 for the function x minus 3 over square root of x plus 6 minus 3. So the conjugate will be third x plus 6 plus 3 over third x plus 6 plus 3. To expand the situation.
So bila sampai sini, okay, stage dia apa? Kindly take note. Boleh tak? Kindly take note. Apa yang you perlu take note untuk di sini? Apa yang you perlu take note? Iaitu expand only one part. Betul? Benda yang you perlu tahu. Expand only one part. So, nak expand atas atau expand bawah? Cuba fikir. Boleh? Cuba fikir.
Kindly take note. Only expand for one part, which is a denominator. So in here, the limit when x approaching 3 for the function x minus 3 bracket multiply with the square root of x plus 6 plus with 3 over. If we expand the situation, and we will have x plus 6 bracket. Next, we're going to expand this part, multiply with the 3. So we will have 3 square root of x plus 6. Next, minus 3 square root of x plus 6. Finally, minus 9. Next, what we have to do is to simplify the situation. And we will have limits when x approaching 3, x minus 3, multiply with square root of x plus 6 plus with the 3. Over x plus 6 minus 9. Rewrite the situation. Limit when x approaching 3 for the function x minus 3 multiply with square root of x plus 6 plus with the 3 over x minus 3.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Okay, sorry to interrupt. So kindly take note. Kindly take note. So in here, what we have. So sekarang you expand. Betul? Sekarang you expand. So mulai sekarang, dah set ketiga mulai sekarang, bila you jumpa multiplication of conjugate, right? Apa yang you perlu buat sekarang? Kena berubah dah. jangan lagi expand. Guna formula. So kindly take note where we have the formula A squared minus B squared. A squared minus B squared. So mohon, you tengah revision, kita tengah discuss, right? So you kena improve. Faham tak? You kena improve. Guna A squared minus B squared. Bila? When we are dealing with multiplications of conjugate for the set. So A, what is your A? A is square root of x plus 6. What is your B? Your B is 3. So formula A squared. So you can see or not? A squared. So when you A squared, you have x plus 6. 3 squared, you will have 9. So the formula I mentioned just now is A squared minus B squared. Understand or not? Clear? Okay. So straightforward lah. So kalau boleh cuba improve. Jangan lagi expand. Guna formula. Kalau you jumpa multiplications of conjugate for the set. So continue.
And we notice that we have a common term, which is x minus 3. So finally, we will have limits when x approaching 3, the function would be square root of x plus 6 plus with the 3. If we substitute the situation, the 3 into the function, and we will have square root of 9 plus with the 3. So finally, we will have 6.
Okay, boleh? 6. So in here, return equals to 6. But in the topic limits, we are not equal to 6. We are approaching 6. Understand or not? We are approaching 6. Boleh? Boleh ya? So next, kita move on to B. Okay, kita move on to B. Question 1B. So bila tengok question 1B, okay, tengok question 1B. So what question is this? So kena check selalu, dia adalah limits. Am I right? Dia adalah limits. So dalam limits, kita ada dua situasi. Number 1 is 0, 0. Number 2 is infinity, infinity. Boleh? So kalau you tengok simbol ini, x approaching infinity, so you dah boleh agak-agak dah. Dia adalah apa? Agak-agak saja, tapi belum pasti. Faham? So harap boleh ikut. So teruskan.
First, what we have to do is to split the situation. So where we have the properties limits when x approaching infinity for the function 2 over x plus 1 plus limits when x approaching infinity for the function 1 minus 7x over 3x plus 4. So kindly take note, if we substitute the situation and we will have 1 over infinity, so it will become 0. So for the first part on the left hand side.
So, apa yang saya buat sekarang? Cuba perhatikan. Apa yang saya buat? Saya guna properties of limit. Saya split dia. Okay? Saya split dia. So macam tak pernah jumpa kan? Set 1, set 2 kan? Set 3 baru ada kan? Tak apa. So belajar. Oh, ada properties yang kita boleh split dia. So bila you split, you akan substitute. Am I right? Bila you split, you akan substitute. Take note. 1 over infinity, either is negative infinity or positive infinity, you will obtain a 0. So in here 1, it doesn't mean that must be 1. It's a constant, then you will have the answer 0. Okay? Not the answer equals to 0 lah, meaning that approaching 0. Okay? So slowly.
If we substitute the information, limits when x approaching infinity into the function 2 over x plus 1, and we will obtain 0. Because if we substitute the infinity, we will have 2 over infinity, and we will obtain 0. Next.
Sir, macam lupa kan? Selalu kita kata dividing the highest power, right? The highest power of x for the denominator, right? But for this case, you ada jumpa infinity tak? Tidak. Faham tak? Tidak. So bila tidak, tak perlu dividing the numerator and the denominator with the highest power of x for the denominator. Tidak perlu. Faham tak? So, kita jangan selalu hafal soalan. Kita kena faham apa yang kita deal with. Boleh good? So, teruskan.
X kindly refers to the right hand side. Limits when x approaching infinity for the function 1 minus 7x over 3x plus 4. So if we substitute the situation, and we will have infinity over infinity, which is what we call indeterminate form. So the suggested.
So, bila you jumpa situasi begini, betul? Bila you jumpa situasi begini, apa yang you perlu buat? Okay, apa yang you perlu buat? You jumpa infinity over infinity, so dalam otak kita kena tahu dividing the numerator and the denominator with the highest powers of x for the denominator. So meaning that you have to refer to the denominator. And then kindly take note, what is the power of the denominator? X, right? So meaning that later on you need to divide all the terms by x. Clear? So revision. So continue.
The strategy will be dividing the numerator and the denominator with.
Okay, clear? Dividing the numerator and the denominator with the highest powers of x for the denominator.
The highest power of x for the denominator. So kindly refers to the denominator where we have x. So meaning that we have to factor out the x. So limit when x approaching infinity, we have x bracket 1 over x minus 7 over x multiplied with 3 plus 4 over x. So kindly simplify the situation, and we will have limits when x approaching infinity, and we will have 1 over x minus 7 over 3 plus 4 over x. Kindly substitute the infinity, and kindly take note, 1 over infinity is equals to 0. So for this case, we will have 0 minus 7 over 3 plus 0. So meaning that limit So given the function fx is equals to 1 over 2 multiplied with the sine cube for the angle x minus 1. Find the value of f prime for the angle pi over 2. So given the situation, fx is equals to 1 over 2 bracket sine for the angle x minus 1 to the power of 3. Next, differentiate the situation with respect to x, and we have f prime x equals to 1 over 2. Kindly focus on the power and we will have 3 bracket sine angle x minus 1 to the power of 2. Next, focus on the internal function, differentiate the sine, and we will have cos with the angle x minus 1. Next.
Okay, boleh? So di sini take note. Take note ya. Sine cube. Okay, sine cube. Sepatutnya maksud dia adalah begini. Sine internal function atau angle x minus 1 bracket cube. Faham? Modify and then be prepared untuk differentiate. Clear? So cara nak differentiate dah telah tunjukkan. So kena take note, differentiate sine dapat cos, differentiate cos dapat negative sine. Okay, take note. Benda yang akan berlaku. So continue, saya buat apa? Saya ringkaskan dia. Okay, saya ringkaskan dia. Boleh kot? Saya ringkaskan dia. Kemudian saya nak substitute value pi over 2. Okay, pi over 2. So saya pun substitute dululah pi over 2. So dah siap substitute, baru saya nak proses.
3 over 2 multiply with sine bracket negative pi over 2 squared cos bracket with the angle negative pi over 2. Simplify the situation. 3 over 2 bracket we have negative sine bracket pi over 2 bracket square. As for the cos negative pi over 2.
Okay, so mungkin ada pelajar dia confused. Dia kata, kenapa negatif tu boleh keluar? Try to imagine negative pi over 2. What does it mean? Negative 90, right? So what quadrant is that? So in the fourth quadrant. So in the fourth quadrant, supposed to be negative lah. Okay, so saya akan explain kenapa pula untuk ini. Cos negative pi over 2.
The situation become cos pi over 2. Highly refers to the situation in the fourth quadrant negative pi over 2. So for this part, cos is positive. That's why.
So ulang negative pi over 2 maksudnya ke bawah. So ini adalah quadrant cos kan? Or okay, here we have sine, here we have tangent and then cos, right? So untuk kawasan ini, kalau cos berada di sini dia positif. That's why cos bracket negative pi over 2 is equals to cos pi over 2. But for this case, sine bracket negative pi over 2, negative pi over 2 di sini kan? So sine mesti negative. That's why I write negative sine pi over 2. Clear? So kena tahu basic knowledge dia, pi over 2 adalah berapa?
We can write cos negative pi over 2 equals to cos pi over 2. Next, simplify the situation. As we all know, sine pi over 2 is equals to 1. So we will have 3 over 2 bracket negative 1 to the power of 2. As for the cos pi over 2, we will obtain 0. So finally, f prime.
Okay, right? So finally, if you multiply them automatically, you will have 0. F prime pi over 2. So meaning that the gradient at this point is 0. So means that stationary. Okay. So just now I mentioned. So if you tak boleh faham atau you nak lagi banyak contoh, you boleh tengok di bawah ada descriptive tu ada link. So boleh klik. Kalau you tak nak, you nampak tak atas ni ada I? You klik dia, sebenarnya ada contoh. Faham tak? Ada contoh di sini dan you boleh rujuk untuk latihan tambahan ke, untuk pembelajaran semula ke, terpulang pada you. Okay? Just for your info. So continue. Example 2A, settle. So now we move on to example 2B.
approaching 0.
Okay, so for this question 2B, we have first principle. Okay, we have first principle. So bagi saya just show a little bit. Okay, just show a little bit.
For the function f bracket x plus h. So meaning that need to substitute the x plus h into this part. So rewrite the situation where we have 5 over 1 minus 3 bracket x plus h bracket square. Kindly take note, the square is outside the bracket, so meaning that it's outside the bracket. Minus 5 over 1 minus 3x bracket square.
Okay, take note. Okay, take note. So kalau you refers to the formula, f with the bracket, the internal value would be x plus h. So maksudnya sini kena x plus h. Faham? So jangan buat mistake. Kebanyakan pelajar akan buat mistake. Dia punya square tu termasuk dalam itu. So bracket square di luar. Faham? Be patient. Substitute. Ikut arahan. So mesti ada pelajar akan tanya, sir, formula untuk first principle ni bagi tak? So my advice adalah, kalau boleh tolonglah ingat dia. Okay, tolong ingat dia.
Over h. Next, I'm going to equate the denominator. So where we will have limit when h approaching 0, 5 multiply with 1 minus 3x bracket square minus with 5 bracket with 1 minus 3 bracket x plus h bracket square over h bracket 1 minus 3 bracket x plus h 0.
Okay, boleh ke tak? Jangan confuse. Dah banyak sangat elemen, jangan confuse. Apa yang saya cuba buat sekarang adalah equate the denominator. Nampak? Saya equate the denominator. Boleh ikut? Slowly, don't worry. Then try to understand what does it mean by the meaning square over here. Apa maksud square ini? Boleh? So, yang bawah ini jangan pergi usik dia dulu. Fokus dekat atas dulu. Okay. So, nampak tak apa yang saya buat? 1 minus 3x square means that we need to expand. Take note. Be careful. Okay. So, untuk ini pula square, apa maksud dia? Nampak? Saya tulis benda yang sama 2 kali. Kenapa saya tak nak straightforward expand? Saya bagi tahu you. Kalau silap, macam mana nak tahu? Okay, so better you follow the instruction. Actually, you are writing the instruction. That's why you need to follow. Then, slowly expand them. Okay, slowly expand them.
Minus the 5, kindly expand the situation and we will have 1 multiply with 1 minus 6 bracket x plus h plus 9 bracket x plus h square over h bracket 1 minus 3 bracket.
Okay, boleh? So saya dah bagi sedikit idea kan? Tak apa, you buat. Faham tak? Yang dah buat bagus. Okay, yang dah buat bagus. So macam biasa, tadi you kata, sir, formula kalau lupa tak ingat macam mana? Nah, buatlah latihan. Di tepi ni ada latihan. Okay, buatlah 2-3 latihan di sini, confirm akan ingat. Boleh? So untuk 2B ini, saya tak akan bincang sampai habis sebab ini benda yang simple, yang you kena take note adalah expand dengan cara yang berhati-hati dan kena teliti sahaja. So now we move on to another question, question number 3. Okay, question number 3. So question number 3 adalah question chapter 10, extremum problems.
So find the stationary point for the curve y equals to 4 multiplied with exponent 2x plus 1 over exponent x, and hence determine its local extremum. So when the question mentioned about stationary point, so meaning that we have dy dx is equals to 0. So now we're going to differentiate the situation. Kindly rewrite the situation. Y equals to 4 multiplied with exponent 2x plus exponent negative x.
So, apa yang saya buat sekarang? Apa yang saya cuba buat sekarang? Tuan-tuan dan puan, apa yang saya cuba buat sekarang? Saya sekarang tengah modify the situation so that be prepared untuk differentiate. Okay or not? Be prepared untuk differentiate. So, kita pun mulalah.
Differentiate y with respect to x. So where we will have dy dx is equals to 4. Differentiate the exponent. First, we need to copy the situation. Then focus on the power, which is 2x. Differentiate it, and we will obtain 2. Plus, differentiate the exponent negative x. We will have exponent negative x. Then focus on the power, and we will obtain negative 1.
So, take note. Okay, take note. Maksud saya take note di sini, ini adalah benda yang selalu berlaku. Takut kita terlupa. Okay, takut kita terlupa.
When we differentiate the situation, we write. So dy dx is equals to a multiplied with exponent 2x minus exponent negative x. Next.
Okay. So, saya boleh tahu untuk soalan chapter ini, saya suka differentiate, find the first derivative, and at the same time, saya find the second derivative. Itu saya punya style. Tak mengapa, kalau pensyarah you tak ajar begini, tak apa. You ikut pensyarah you. Sama sahaja. Okay? Sama sahaja.
My suggestion is differentiate for the second time where we have the second derivative. And we will have 8 multiplied with exponent 2x multiplied with 2 minus differentiate the exponent negative x, and we will have exponent negative x multiplied with the negative 1 after we differentiate the power, which is negative x. So rewrite.
Boleh ya? Ini saya punya gaya. Okay, saya punya gaya. So sekarang nak cari apa? The following step is to find the critical, right? The critical value, the stationary point, or whatever. So in here, they ask you to find the stationary point. So dy dx is equals to 0. Okay, dy dx is equals to 0. So saya buat sehingga saya dapat nilai x saya adalah 1/3. So kali refers to the questions, they state point. So meaning that when the x is equals to 1/3, what is the value for y?
Ln bracket 8 to the power negative 1, or you may rewrite the situation 1/3 ln bracket 2 to the power of negative 3. So if we simplify the situation, we will have x is equals to 1/3. By using the properties of log, we can transfer or bring forward the negative 3. So we will have negative 3 bracket ln 2. Finally, x is equals to negative ln 2. In order to find the point, so meaning that we need to find the value of v. So kindly substitute the x, which...
Sorry ya, take note. So kalau pelajar kata, sir, boleh tak saya biarkan macam ni? Boleh. Tapi ingat, for mathematics, mesti kena simplify. Betul tak? Mesti kena simplify. So kalau boleh, try your best untuk dapat benda yang paling simple. Try your best. Faham tak? Try your best. So take note, kalau boleh simplify, simplify. Kalau itu saja yang you mampu, itu saja. Clear? So sekarang nak cari point, ini kena substitute lah.
Which is negative ln 2 into the function y. Next, we are going to find the point. So meaning that we need the value of y. So kindly substitute the value of x, which is equals to negative ln 2 into the function y. So where we will have y is equals to 4 multiplied with exponent 2. Substitute the x with negative ln 2. Plus exponent negative. Substitute the x with the value negative ln 2. Simplify the situation, and we will have y is equals to 4 exponent negative 2 ln 2. Plus we have exponent ln 2. Y is equals to...
Boleh? Boleh ya? So harap melalui example ini you cuba belajar, okay? Belajar properties, okay? Atau law untuk log. So benda ini perkara yang biasa dalam chapter 1 and chapter 2. So cuba pergi kaji, okay? Cuba pergi kaji.
So 4 exponent ln 2 to the power of negative 2 plus exponent ln 2. So kindly refers to the situation by using the properties of log. As we all know, exponent ln, we will obtain 1. So meaning that the value of y will be equals to 4 multiplied with 2 to the power negative 2 plus 2.
Okay? Boleh? So dari sini you dapatlah nilai y you, iaitu y equals to 3. So the stationary point is negative ln 2 and 3. Okay? So ini adalah step untuk ketiga, iaitu cari masalah critical point or stationary point. Next, we have to determine its local extremum. So the meaning local extremum either is maximum or minimum. Okay? Local extremum atau relative extremum atau nature of the point. Tolong catat local extremum, relative extremum atau nature of the point. So kita kena ambil nilai x ini untuk testing.
The value of x, exponent negative with the value negative ln 2. So simplify the situation, we will have 16 e to the power of ln 2 to the power of negative 2 plus exponent ln 2. Exponent ln, we will obtain 1. Finally, f double prime.
Okay or not? So when you substitute, kindly show the process. Okay, kindly show the process. Then we have the value f double prime bracket negative ln 2 is 6. So it is greater than 0. Kalau greater than 0 maksudnya maximum or minimum?
0. So as a conclusion, for the point bracket negative ln 2 value y 3 is a minimum point, because for the f prime negative ln 2 the value is 6, which is greater than 0. So the conclusion is minimum value.
Okay, boleh ya? So ini adalah soalan tentang chapter 10. So kita kena move on dengan example yang seterusnya, complex number. Okay, so complex number. So sebelum kita mula complex number, satu je peringatan. Mata you observe betul-betul. Soalan tu kadang-kadang dia tulis Z bar atau Z. Faham? Z bar atau Z. Tengok betul-betul. Itu saja mistake yang selalu kita buat. Okay? Sebab dia senang. Soalan ni senang. Tapi kita tercicir. Ada Z bar di bawah. Di bawah apa? Di bawah sini. Z bar ni di bawah sini. Kebetulan ada divide kan. Kemudian dia letak bar. Dan kita tak nampak. So dia akan salah semua. Take note. So tulis di tepi, take note. Z bar atau W bar. Clear? Boleh? So continue.
Find Z over W in the form of A plus BI, where the A and B are real number. Hence, find the polar form for the situation Z over W. Kindly substitute the Z and W into the situation. So where we have Z over W is equal to 3 minus I over -1, -2i. So the question asks us to express the situation in the form of a plus bi. So meaning that we need to rationalize the denominator by multiplying with the conjugate. So where we have the conjugate is focused on the imaginary part, meaning that you have to change the sign of the imaginary part. And we will have the conjugate -1 plus 2i over -1 plus 2i. Next is to expand the situation where we will have -3 plus 6i plus I plus 2.
Okay, di sini berhati-hati. Okay, di sini berhati-hati. Take note. Ramai pelajar dia buat mistake bila dia nak expand yang hujung ini. Okay, dia expand yang hujung ini. So you kena spend some time untuk pergi faham dia. Okay, untuk pergi faham dia. So sekarang you ni tengah revision kan? You kena spend some time untuk teliti bahagian ni. Maksudnya macam mana nak laju bila nak expand. Okay, laju dan tepat tau. Laju dan tepat. Sebab kawasan ni, you jangan lagi enjoy yourself. Okay, so dekat bawah, what is my advice? Boleh tak guna formula? Cuba biasakan diri guna formula, iaitu bila you deal with multiplication of the conjugate, okay, for the complex number, remember, use the formula a squared plus b squared.
Over. For the denominator, if we're having the situation a plus bi multiply with a minus bi, so meaning that the multiplication of the conjugate to each other, and we will obtain the formula, which is a squared plus b squared. So for this case, the a is -1. So meaning that if we square the situation, and we will obtain 1. As for b, the value is -2 or 2. If we square the 2, and we will obtain plus 4. Simplify the situation, and we will have -1 plus 7i over 5. So express the situation in the form of a plus bi, meaning that we have real part and imaginary part.
So ikut arahan soalan kata a plus bi, so you buatlah a plus bi. Faham? You jangan biar soalan you begini. Kalau you biar dia begini, hilang satu markah. Okay, split dia. Okay, split dia. Boleh ikut? Boleh ya? So kita kena usaha dan teruskan lagi.
As a conclusion, z over w is equals to -1 over 5 plus 7i over 5. Kindly focus on the part B. Hence, find the polar form for the situation z over w. Or we may say -1 over 5 plus 7i over 5. So, step number 1 kindly refers to the diagram. And we need to determine the location of the situation z over w, where we have -5, meaning that which is on the left, and plus 7i over 5, meaning that we will have the situation in the second quadrant.
So, ini adalah kaedah saya bila dealing with polar form. Saya suka buat diagram sebab saya nak tahu di mana dia. So, yang ini pun sama, dia bergantung kepada pensyarah masing-masing. Kalau pensyarah you ajar you begitu dan you dah memang mahir, you buatlah cara, okay, ikut pensyarah you, boleh faham? Jangan keliru, benda yang sama. Masing-masing ada cara masing-masing. Boleh? So saya punya first step adalah saya nak buat diagram, saya nak tahu di mana location dia.
So next, we are going to find the modulus of z.
Okay, so bila saya dah tahu location saya di sini, just to emphasize, here we have the basic angle. Okay, the basic angle. So modulus ini saya tak nak buang masa dah. Sebab semua orang rasanya tak ada masalah. Okay, so saya show it one by one, so saya dapat macam ni. So mesti ada pelajar akan tanya, sir, perlu tak buat sampai macam ni? So ingat, you nak terangkan kepada orang lain, so kalau boleh, step by step. Faham tak? Jangan tiba-tiba ke sini. Faham? Kalau boleh, nyatakan dengan jelas untuk pemeriksa tahu apa yang you tengah present. Boleh? Boleh ya? Cuba yang terbaik. Okay, cuba yang terbaik. So next, saya nak cari dia punya alpha. Di mana alpha saya adalah basic angle. So in here, take note. Take note. Kalau you guna kaedah yang saya ajar, saya akan ignore the negative sign. Di mana tangent alpha equals to y. The value of y, where we have 7/5 over 1/5. Negative, saya tak ambil. Okay, saya tak ambil.
ignore the sign of negative. So tangent alpha is equals to 7. By using the calculator, find the basic angle where we have the alpha is equals to 81.87 basic angle. So in here,
Okay, so kalau you tengok angle ini, tak logik sikit lah lukisan saya. Kecil sangat kan? Supposed to be tinggi sikit. Tapi ingat as a reference sahaja. Faham? So di sini adalah saya punya basic angle. So argument saya mula dengan kosong sehingga ke kawasan hijau ini.
where we have the basic angle alpha, and then in order to determine the argument of z, where we have the situation, must be start from 0. So here is the argument of z. So the argument of z is equals to 180 degree minus the basic angle where we have 1.87. So the argument of z is equals to 98.13. So if we convert the situation into a radian, so the argument of z, we need to multiply with the pi over 180 degree. So finally, we will obtain 0.545 pi radian for the argument of z.
Okay, so saya just nak jelaskan ya. Saya ni kebiasaannya saya guna angle. Saya tak berapa mahir sangat nak terus buat radian. Faham? So saya selalu buat angle dahulu. So 180 minus basic angle, so saya dapat 98.13. Then ingat, express your answer in the terms atau in the form of radian. So jawapan saya boleh begini. Kalau you tak nak macam ni, ada pelajar dia darab terus dengan pi. Maksudnya dia dapat decimal. Boleh? So kalau saya tekan calculator, 0.545 multiply with the pi. So jawapan saya adalah 1.712. Okay? So you kena tulis jawapan you 1.71 sahaja. 1.71 radian. Sebab, remember, 3 significant figure. Express your final answer in 3 significant figure. So, di sini pun sama, 3 significant figure. Clear? So, finally, express in the polar form. Boleh? Polar form. So, macam biasa, di bawah ada link untuk you rujuk tentang complex number atau polar form. Okay? So, kita akan teruskan lagi example yang seterusnya tentang equation. Okay? Question number 2, equation.
Set of the inequalities where we have the modulus x minus equation. So solve 5 ln 3x minus 10 equals to ln 33. So simplify the situation. By using the properties of log, we can bring the 5 become ln 3x to the power of 5 minus ln 32 equals to 10. By using the properties of log, where we have log m minus log n is equals to log bracket m over n. So for this case, ln bracket 3x to the power of 5 over 32 equals to 10. So as we all know, for the value 32, it is equals to 2 to the power of 5. So meaning that ln bracket 3x bracket to the power of 5 over 2 to the power of 5. We write the situation, ln bracket 3x over 2 to the power of 5 equals to 10. We write the situation in the index form.
So apa yang saya cuba buat sekarang adalah saya cuba rearrange, okay, supaya like term bersama. Like term maksudnya ada ln bersama, saya guna dia. Then saya guna properties atau rules atau law for the log. Okay, so saya pun simplifykan dia dan cuba simplifykan dia dan saya nampak ada power 5. So saya asingkan dia. Okay, then ini kita panggil log form. Faham? Log form means that log to the base E. Kalau you rearrange atau you convert dia boleh jadi index form. Maksudnya E to the power of 10.
So where we will have 3x over 2 to the power of 5 is equals to e to the power of 10. Then 3x over 2 is equals to third exponent 10, where we know that the situation is e to the power of 10 bracket power 105. So we can simplify the situation as e to the power of 2. Then rewrite the situation where we will have the x.
Boleh? Rasanya okay kot. Just that mungkin di depan ini confusing sikit. Okay? So ingat kita kena cuba untuk simplify. Faham tak? Kita kena cuba untuk simplify keadaan itu. Faham tak? You jangan expand dan expand. So kita kena cuba untuk simplify. Faham tak? So tanpa buang masa, kita terus ke jawapan dia lah ya. So jawapan you beginilah. Boleh? So you may express your answer in fraction, exponent, ln atau 3 significant figure. So boleh? Boleh? Okay, so example 2A selesai. Kita pergi ke example yang seterusnya.
So determine the solution set of the inequalities where we have the modulus x minus 3 greater than equals to square root of 11 minus 5x. By referring to the definition of the modulus, where we have modulus of x minus 3 actually equals to square root of x minus 3 square. So rewrite the situation where we have square root of x minus 3 square greater equals to 11 minus 5x. Next, my suggestion will be square both sides. So if we square both sides, and we will have x minus 3 bracket square greater equals to 11 minus 5x. Expand the situation, then rearrange. So where we will have x squared minus 6x plus 9. Infinity until -1, union from the 2 until positive infinity. Kindly take note the situation, determine the solution set. So meaning that we have to express our answer in a solution set. So where we have this one is interval form.